Bentornati, and welcome back to Dwarf Fortress. The day is the 13th of Sandstone, mid-autumn in the year 250. The Dwarves of Katdiriton Oltaristrath, Glimmerhall, the Gilded Jewel, bid you welcome. And the caravan coming from the mountain home just left our trade depot in here. We managed to produce a bunch of scepters, both made of wood and stone, with the help of our two amazing legendary crafters. And those fetched a pretty price, especially for a first caravan. We were able to get, as you can see in here, the goods that remained. Let me press T to look at objects included in a building. We have leather backpacks, bronze mace, iron mace, a bin full of leather of various kinds, an iron warhammer, another bronze mace, some cave spider silk thread, copper helm, cloth, and more items. All in all, a very satisfactory transaction. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time for us to put in practice this setup in here, which is two jewelers' workshops, one set to cut gems and the other to encrust. I should have in here some cut gems, 3 to be more precise, and in here a finished goods bin with some scepters. So now we could try and do that, provided that we have everything. Let me try this. Add a new task. Encrust with gems. So E. Encrust finished goods. Yes, because scepters are categorized as finished goods. So G. And we want to do this, well, either 3 times or as long as we have the necessary materials. So let's try and do that. While that happens, all my miners and basically all my other dwarves are idle, with the exception of probably masons and carpenters, because they are busy making beds and doors. I don't think I ever requested the making of the coffers and the cabinets, but I could start setting up that right now. U, M, and let's see, so we got orders for blocks, bins, beds. Oh, the one about the doors probably just finished. So let's do a new order. Rock, coffer. Yes, make 16 please. Alright. Then again, new order. Rock, cabinet. Yes, another 16 of those. That's a bunch of work to be done. Other than that, I want to start excavating the rest of this place. So let's go to D, capital M to toggle. Can I use my mouse in box select mode? I actually can. Alt M. Okay, this should make it easier. There you go. So that is now getting removed. Actually, it's a small portion that I could use in here. Good. Should I go and do the same on this level? I think I should. Give me a second. Alright, so this should free some more space for other workshops to be set up. And after that, I want to dig a little bit deeper and maybe start getting towards this level where we can have things like a grand dining hall and more administrative, like offices. So we can put in here something like our manager office and maybe an office for our future captain of the guards and so on and so forth. And then deeper still. Alright, this is our hospital and water related area. I should definitely start digging the water channels out, but first things first. So I want definitely to get maybe to around this depth. So D, capital M again, because I want to turn these designation or these markings into actual digging designations. So up to here. And then at this level, let's have these two corridors. And then this area. And maybe let's go as far as here for now. Let's see, what else can I order my dwarves to do? Because most of them have no jobs at the moment. Now, this should keep the miners occupied at the very least. And the masons and the carpenters probably have something to do. I would like to also use the crafters. The problem is I don't have space for the workshops yet. Might be a good idea to take a look at our foods and drinks stockpiles though. So we have 20 drinks. We currently have no like meat or fish. It's a bunch of seeds and plants. It could be a good idea since now we have had an influx of people and several of them are designated as general use farmers. It could be a good idea to go back to the surface, zoom out a little bit, and designate an area for us to get plants out of. You know, just generally like forage for plants and fruit and stuff like that. Let me see. Can I take a look at the trees and see if there's some specifically? Yeah, custard apple tree, lime, finger lime, paradise nut, coconut, pomegranate, kumquat, avocado, date palm. Wow, there's a bunch of exotic fruit. Kapok, coconut, and lime. Do these bear fruit? I mean, it's late autumn. So no, probably not right now. I'm not seeing any fruit. I can definitely dig roots and stuff like that though. So let's see. Let's make an area with I. So a zone. Let's not stray too far from now. Let's see. What about an area like this? And we'll set up this as a gather pick fruit, so G. Then capital G to set up the information. They can pick fruit from trees, not really, but pick berries and pull tubers and gather fallen fruit. Should there be any? Let's see what they can get from that. Let me take a look then again at our farms level. So what's the status in our farms? We got pigtail seeds in here. Plump helmet spawn, a bunch of plump helmet, and more pigtail seeds. So they should have enough to keep going. What do we see in here? Grape seeds bag, sweet pod seeds bag, dimple cup spawn bag, rock nuts, plump helmet, cave wheat. Did we actually harvest some cave bushes? Let me see. Stalks. Should be either under plants or leaves. Leaves says none, so no. But under plants, I have a bunch of plump helmets and I have a bunch of pigtails, which is cool, so I can start my pigtail cloth industry, provided I have a space to put down the requisite workshops. There's cave wheat too. Cave wheat would be, I mean, I can turn cave wheat into beer, which probably for now is the best idea. The other use for cave wheat is to mill the cave wheat into dwarven flour and then use that in the preparation of meals And being that that is a two steps process, the meals resulting from that will be of much higher value. But that requires a stone quern, which I don't have at the moment. Let's think about where do we want to put this stuff though. Well, since this is our kitchen area and our farms are in here, seems only natural to continue this way. So let me actually also designate this area in here to be dug out. At the same time, as a last thing before I unpause, I would like also to be busy making stone blocks. My only problem in here is that I have only one mason shop right here, and it's connected to a well, this is a mason output, but if I go into settings, if I remember correctly, this is designated only as a furniture stockpile, but I can fix this pretty easy. I can get in here, say bards, blocks, and this now works as an output. Should I tell this guy, maybe through the workshop profile, to produce a steady output of blocks? So let's create a work order, new order. I want you to make Z blocks. So each order of blocks makes 3. I would like you to make, let's go 14 orders, which makes 42 blocks in total, which is a pretty good number. And I want you to set this with conditions to repeat. Check monthly. And I want to use an item condition. And I want to set up 2 conditions actually. So one condition is from reagents and materials. Amount of non-economic hard rock to be at least, not 10, change the number, should be at least 20 going around. Now I hope this is not, well, it says satisfied for next check, so it's definitely not just looking at the connected input stockpile, but rather at what's available in the entire fortress. But also check for items, because if we already have a lot of blocks, maybe don't start another job. So change the inequality with Q. If there is at most, well, I like if it's okay, yeah, start a new order if it's less than, change number, say less than 16. Let's do 14. I like the multiples of 7, just because 7 dwarves, you know? I imagine 7 to be an important number in dwarven society. So if there's less than 14 blocks, they will make 14 rounds of blocks, which means 42. And this is not satisfied for the next check, which means that right now we have more than 14 blocks, which is encouraging, because it means that at this point I can leave this workshop, and since I have those blocks, I can start thinking about my defenses. I want to start building a wall. So how do we do that? So B for building, and capital C for constructions, and then wall. I would like, again, to use planning mode. Unfortunately, this is a feature that we will not have with the Steam release. It's something that Tarn and Zach said that they want to work on this at some point. They recognize that it's really useful to say, I want this to be built even though I don't have the necessary materials at the moment. Just get to it as soon as we have the blocks in this case. So I want to get in planning mode. Unfortunately, I zoomed the UI too much and now I can't see what's going on. So, okay, let me do this. I need to go in here in a screen like this and zoom out a little bit. This should be enough, I hope. So again, B, capital C, wall. Okay, now I can see everything in there. Okay, let me go in material filters and I say stone and ask, no, again, material filter, stone, shift enter save. That's the way to do it. So I set generically stone. But then I go also in the global settings and I say allowed type for generic, fire safe and magma safe building material. Blocks, yes. Boulders, no. So even if I say stone, I now deactivated stone boulders, which means that they will use stone blocks. Good. So I think I can just ask from here. Let me see again. Yeah, it's saved. Definitely saved. So now we can start drawing the walls. I want to encircle our pit in here. Wait, I'm not doing box select. So B. Okay. Now I would be tempted to draw this corner. The problem with this is if the dwarves do first this one and then this one, they would not have access to this one. Because right now they cannot build diagonally. They can walk diagonally, but they cannot build diagonally. This is, however, already fixed in the Steam version. So I will do this and this, but not this one. Okay. Then let's set this. You know what? Take out box mode. Can I do it with the mouse? Oh, it looks like I can. Okay, let me finish drawing this. Alright, so this is gonna be the shape of our walls, and the idea is to have a drawbridge in here that we can raise and basically becomes an impassable wall in here. And I think this would be cool. The next bit of defenses that we might want to use with this setup is to put a couple of animals and like chain them around here. Why do we want to do that? Because some type of enemies are sneaky. A sneaky enemy basically means that it's invisible, so they can move anywhere they want, and we would not see them and the dwarves would not see them. Now the dwarves, both dwarves and animals, have skills that would allow them to detect hidden enemies. The thing though is, pretty much any animal has such a good sense of smell that they would smell any hidden intruder when they get close enough. So if we have two animals in here, one chained on, say, the upper side and one on the lower side of this corridor, there's no chance that a sneaky enemy doesn't get at one tile of distance from an animal, which means it's a guaranteed find. Okay, so that's one little trick that you can use to detect sneaky enemies. All right, there's a bunch of work to be done. I don't know what that X is now. Oh, for some reason I set up the construction of something here. Okay, X to remove that. Let's unpause. Let's unleash our dwarves, and you like it. You know that you've done it right when most of the dwarves you see streaming out of your meeting area and out to do something. And look at that, already they are building our walls, which is amazing. Let's see. This is in fact a shale block wall. You'll love to see that. Okay, we'll get back in here when more of that has been built. Let's go check on our miners. I should be going down underground. Oh, here they are. Couple of miners. Who are you? Who are you, brave dwarves? Edsel. Yes, Edsel the miner. And Ficot the miner. Working on our second quartzite level. Oh, let's unpause so that I can continue working. And hopefully we get some more gem. Now, I know that I have more miners than this. Are the others going downstairs? It looks like so. No, actually, those were already excavated. Sorry, my bad. Oh, look, more. Oh, coffers are coming in. Coffers and cabinets. Look at this. Is this a complete room right now? Oh, we just need the bed. Why aren't our beds done? Oh, beds are coming in too. We just need to wait. Construction of wooden bin number 4 has been completed. But yeah, things are moving. Oh, 3 miners we have working in here at the moment. That is amazing. So in a moment, I would like to start setting up maybe a leather workers or somewhere to work cloth. Ooh, gems. Oh, nice. Ooh, somebody just came and scooped them up. Who are you? Kogan. Oh, Kogan. Amazing. What do you have in your inventory? Rock crystal. Very good indeed. Now, I know that rock crystal, it's also used in the making of crystal glass. I don't think I ever managed to produce crystal glass, but it could be an interesting challenge. Alright, while the dwarves are mining, let's set up another couple of industries in here. I would like to start with my leather workers. So workshop. E for leather worker. And let's start from here. So leather workshop. Oh, unfortunately I'm out of blocks. Oh no, here they are. I have one, one shale blocks. So I guess I'll have then to wait a little bit for the dwarves to make more blocks, because I want these workshops to look good. I think I did not position this correctly. Alright, that's the way I wanted. Let me set up input and output stockpiles. And are connected. So this one gives to the leatherworks. And this one takes from the leatherworks only. I need to also set up the use of bins, because otherwise some of these may eat all our bins, so one each for now will be enough. Also, at some point I might want to do something about all these boulders, because these abandoned boulders that sit on top of a stockpile, they definitely take up space in there. So for each of those boulders takes up the space that could be used for example, a bin full of leather. Now on the other side in here, I want to try and make a setup both for our loom and then clothier workshop. So BW, let's start with the loom with O. Spot the loom in here. I don't have blocks. I need to wait for blocks. All right, let's let the dwarves do something, and then I'll be back. There he is, Dobar, making blocks. Okay, let's see if I can use that block before somebody else takes it. Workshop, loom. Let's get in here. Oh, now I have 27 shield blocks. Oh, maybe it was me and I didn't see them earlier. And then a clothier shop. I want it here, made with shale blocks. Now, the thing in here is a little bit reversed. So I want thread to be the input of the loom. Then the output of the loom is going to be cloth, which is the input of the clothier, of course. And then armor, I guess it's all armor. All the clothes are classified under armor, but we'll discover soon enough. It's gonna be the output of the clothier. I guess also finished goods, because in the clothier's workshop you're gonna make ropes and such. So let's get cracking with stockpiles. So P. What is thread? Is thread together with cloth? I think it's together with cloth, and then we need to set up the filters. So this, let's remove a little space in here for our corridor. Then in here it's gonna be again cloth, There you go. And we will remove thread from this one. And then for now, let's say armor D for the output on this side. Okay, now settings on the first input. Well, let's combine them first of all. Okay, name the workshops. This is our general loom. This is generic clothier. Okay. Now, you give to this. Then you take from the loom. Do I want to say take also from other places? Probably yes, because I mean cloth is cloth, and it's always going to be the input to something else. So no need to say take from links only, but then give to general clothier, and you take from general clothier, and we have a nice loop of goods in here. Now, these two would from the beginning accept both cloth and thread. So let's go into settings, cloth, and we want to filter out cloth from this because at the start there's only thread. So forbid. Okay, and oh, there's also adamantine strands in here, but let's remove that for now. It's a problem for much later on. So silk, plant, and yarn. In here instead, settings, and again cloth, we want to forbid thread, and also metal cloth. So cloth made from silk, plant, and yarn goes in here. This is the output of the clothier, which makes both armor. I guess it doesn't make shields and such, but this will take only from the workshop, so I don't need necessarily to do anything else. However, I want to enable finished goods, because I think in here there's also... No, I think yes, because it lists chains in here, and a rope is basically a cloth chain. So I need that. I think in order to store in here bags made of cloth, I need to enable also furniture. Yes, enable furniture. To be fair, I could enable everything. If an output stockpile is set to only take from the workshop it's closed to, I have no need to set up a filter in here. So I could just say, take everything. The important thing is that it comes from there, right? So you can take furniture, which will include the bags. Last thing though, press A, because right now we'll take from anywhere, now it takes from links only. Okay, that is set up. Let's unleash the dwarves. Okay, leather is coming in. I've struck sphalerite. Where? That is interesting. Zoom. In here? Some more migrants have arrived. Wow. So let me make a brief comment on that, because it was mentioned at recent streams they are making about the new version of Dwarf Fortress, in the Steam version, that this game can be kind of hectic. Like, you might have noticed that I spend most of the time of the episodes being paused, because then the dwarves are pretty speedy, and also events come by very rapidly, right? Like, probably if we combine all the amount of time that you've seen the game running, maybe less than half an hour between 5 or 6 episodes, and we already have a second migrant wave. So let's find these dwarves. Okay, here they are coming from this side. So, let's take a look at them as they come through. We have Besmar Thunderkey. I like that name. Amudedem Thunderkey. He's a hunter. You know what, hunter? I will set up some people to hunt. Maybe I don't know, maybe either at the end of this episode or at the start of the next. But for now, please for now, L for labor. No, I have to use plus and minus. Hunting related, do not hunt. Just right now, okay? And unpause. After you... Oh, you left your crossbow right there. Probably should have waited. Then we have... Oh! This guy shines! Again, the good name. The good name of the high standards of Glimmerhall. You know, it's like a bright light that shines on all dwarven kind, and we are attracting tons of legendary dwarves. Onol Rigothreg, craft gloves. Onol craft gloves. I mean, he's a doctor, so craft gloves. So on point. I love this. He is... Oh, a legendary student. Well, that makes sense. At the same time, though, he's a great diagnostician and a great surgeon. Professional bone doctor, adept suturer, adequate cheesemaker. What else? Swordsmith, legendary reader. Well, it makes sense. He's a great doctor, a great surgeon too. So it makes sense that he will be a legendary reader. Proficient critical thinker. And he's a novice in the dance of the droplet of blossoming. My goodness. The droplet of blossoming. Guys, we need to make a tavern as soon as possible, because I want to see Ono dance the droplet of blossoming, right? That is one of our goals now. Alright, let's unpause and have more people coming through. We have some farm animals, some pets. Who are you? You're Speedy. You're an animal caretaker. Normal. Relic Tunneled. Your dwarven name is Normal Zane God. Which stands for Relic Tunneled. You're an animal caretaker, a fish cleaner, a thresher, and a novice poet in the form of the mellow incense. I'd love to see that. We have another hunter. It's full of hunters, and you know what? I should definitely put these hunters in the condition to start hunting, which means I need to set up production of bowls. And he also likes music and dancing. Again, for you two, I will say, please do not hunt until I say so, because I need also to set up the butchery and the tannery. Otherwise, he will hunt animals and the carcasses will just be left there to rot, and we don't want that. Okay, let's unpause again. Anybody else? I see another dwarf. This one doesn't look like a hunter at all. He's a woodcutter. Led Onulsakrith Mirror Blazes. He's an adequate woodcutter. I have another woodcutter. And poet and musician. And then Kivish Regzasit Glove Knife. Adequate poet, competent speaker, novice dancer, adequate musician, novice singer, competent instrumentalist, both stringed and wind, and an adequate percussionist. This guy must be so fun to be around. He knows how to use a bunch of instruments, like the Rayati, the Seti, the Alithi, the Ud, the Suks, and the Am, and the Sefeta, and the Nafalo. I mean, he's basically a one-man band. Look at this guy. knows about a bunch of different forms of poetry. Wow. And music, and dance. Kivish. Kivish knows how to have fun. This guy's probably gonna be our main entertainer when we set up a tavern. Unpause again, is there more? That's a child, I think. Oh, another dwarf. Another woodcutter. He's also a competent axe dwarf. Which is good. This could be our first military dwarf. Because he's a novice shield user, armor user, discipline, observer, dabbling wrestler, striker and kicker, and novice dodger. Also adequate herbalist, soaper and spinner. Novice climber, that's always good. Okay, Cadol, Zalisonul, worded mirrored. Welcome to the fortress. And another one. More and more dwarves coming through. Another woodcutter. I mean, they know that we are in the middle of a forest, so... He's a legendary poet and speaker. You know, this guy might, depending on his preferences, he might be a good religious leader of some sort, being a legendary speaker. But I think a legendary speaker is also involved into storytelling. So again, when we set up a tavern, this guy could tell stories. And he's also a legendary poet, although he only knows the form of the mellow incense, so... Yeah, maybe he invented that form of poetry. Anybody else? That is all the new arrivals. Okay, let's first of all take care of the animals and add the ones that need to graze to our pasture. No, not the turkeys. Oh, we have a lot of puppies. I didn't see that. That is super good. We could definitely keep some puppies there at the entrance. But alpaca, llama, donkey, bull, and again alpacas, they can stay in here and graze. Looks like half of our walls are already being constructed, which is good. At this point though, being that so many dwarves just arrived, let's look at the unit screen. Look at this. We went from 15 to 24. Now that we have a legendary doctor, we also need to start thinking about a hospital. Man, there's so many things to do. Thankfully, just one child. I mean, I have nothing against children, but you know, dwarven children, they do as they please. So they don't really contribute until they are, I think, like 14 or something. It's good to see though that most dwarves have something to do. Our legendary dwarves right now are not doing much, but we'll think about that later. We definitely squeezed them a little bit earlier when the caravan was in here. Oh my, only 7 drinks. Only 7 drinks. We have a bunch of plants, probably because the dwarves were busy picking up roots and fruits. Do I want to... I think I want to set up maybe another zone, because I think with this amount of dwarves, we might need to rely on stuff that we can forage for a while. So let's have a second zone in here for gathering. Ignore trees for now. I don't want anybody to get stuck on top of a tree, okay? Now, if I look at my still, how are we doing? There's currently no order in here. We might benefit from setting up a recurring order for drinks. Why didn't I do this earlier? This is absolutely necessary. So where are currently our drinks? There's a horse milk barrel in here. We can ask, you know, to produce some cheese at some point. That would be good. But cheese is made at the farmer's workshop, and we are waiting for this area to be dug out so that we can make a farmer's workshop there. Now, for drinks. So we have barrels, and we have plants. We can check on the plants if we go to kitchen in here. So this is all the plants. Some of them cannot be turned into brew, but some of them can. For example, potatoes. If I disable cooking potatoes, we can make some fantastic vodka out of them, and ratweed can turn into some kind of brew also. Seeds, drinks, and there's a little bit of milk in there. We definitely need to turn that into cheese. Okay, so there's stuff that we can brew. Let's get in here at our still. Let's open the workshop profile. Go to work orders and make a new order. And this is an order to brew drinks from plants. You can also brew from fruit, but that's more like a specialty thing. At some point we will have a constant production of plump helmets, and that's gonna be our most reliable source of brewable plants. Whereas like fruits, like they come seasonally. Also fruits bear seeds that can't really be used for anything else. So I definitely incurred in the past in the problem of having to dispose of hundreds of peach pits and apple seeds and stuff like that can't really be used for anything. So you need to destroy those seeds in some way. Okay, I want to set up an order. I want to set up an order for 10 drinks batches, which means 10 barrels. And then I want to get into the conditions. I want you to check monthly. And I want you to add a condition based on products. Okay, this automatically creates conditions based on having. So if there's at most 10 drinks, looks satisfied for next session. Now I have a problem reading at most, so I will quickly change this to available is less than. This looks much better. Now it puts automatically seeds in here because seeds is also one of the results of the brewing process. But I want to remove this. So D to delete this condition on seeds. So this means if there's less than 10. Now I want to up the number here. I want to change the number. I want you to keep brewing if there is less than 50 drinks. Now I'm not sure if this 50 is 50 barrels or if it's 50 units. But I guess we'll see. Also, you can never have too much booze, so whatever. 50 is good. Now I could also add a condition on the reagents or materials. And this also added conditions on amount of unrotten drink material producing plants. So thankfully I don't have to go looking for that, to be at least 10. It is satisfied for next check. However, looks like we don't have 10 barrels available, so we need to work on that. For now though, since I want them to start working on this, I'm gonna go in here and change the number to be 5. If there's at least 5 barrels, just start, okay? Just start making those drinks. Alright, I think we're done in here. The manager will validate this shortly. And then I want to go downstairs and maybe order some barrels. I'll just make a manual order for now. Oh, E is buckets. What was barrels? Was B? No, B is bad. That's armor stand. What was R? V? V is barrel. There it is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make 7 barrels. Right, let's unpause. Okay, drinks are being made. The dwarves should be mining whenever possible. Blocks are being made automatically. Drinks, I said that. Drinks, barrels. Maybe we can cut some more gems because we encountered some gems. Let's get down here to the jeweler. And we have some rock crystals. Yeah, so let's so cut rock crystals on repeat. Let's do that. If we look back at the surface, it doesn't look more of this has been completed. Is this getting suspended? Well, it is suspended because it's a plan, so... Okay, construct rock blocks has been completed. So things are proceeding, it seems. Oh, in here we have a cage with an animal inside, with an alpaca. Can we assign that alpaca to be in the pasture instead? Where is said alpaca? Here it is. Yes, bring it here. And then these are turkeys, hens, and gobblers. Oh, we definitely need to set up a space for our turkeys. To set up space and have, I mean, we have 3 hens, so we need 3 nest boxes. Where can that go? My miners, however, don't seem to be done with the digging yet. What are they doing? Oh, some of them are digging, some of them are actually constructing rock cabinets. This is a nice colored stone. Oh, this is marble, which is also flux. Amazing. So with marble, we can start thinking about steel. Should we also have iron? Pink jade? Where's pink jade? Show me. Where are we? Oh, in here. Oh, look, pink jade. Pink jade cluster. And more rose quartz. Okay, so they are digging. The things with miners, if you don't set up priorities, they just go all over the place. Now, needs unrotten drink material producing plants. Our still, it's not finding plants, and it's probably because our dwarves are struggling when it comes to moving stuff into the necessary stockpile. However, I see them working. I see this guy. Oh, the new Kogan. Oh, no, this is old Kogan. Autumn staves. He's putting an item in the stockpile. In his inventory, he has a dwarven wine barrel. Amazing. Let's look at the stocks. So now drinks are up to 23. That's much better. Okay, we're all over the place in this episode. However, walls are getting built. At some point, they will probably find a way to make the other blocks and the way to use them, I hope. And look at this, beautiful. Now we have an area to begin doing something else. What is this something else that I want to do? I want to put in here at least a butcher shop and a farmer's workshop. And I think we can start putting the butcher's shop to work on some of the animals we have in there, because we don't have a ton of space, and also that a pasture isn't so well protected, so we better use the meat. So, build. Workshop. Is it U for butchers? Yes, it is. So let's put a butcher's workshop in here. It's true, I don't have any blocks at the moment. Alright, you know what? Just use candle nut logs for now. And then I think it's W again for the farmer's workshop. Put it in here. Again, use logs. Then, as always, inputs and outputs. So, B, a stockpile. Now, the stockpile that is an input for our butcher is going to be a refuse stockpile. At least that's the preset. And the output is going to be, I mean, it's a mix of food and refuse because we also get bones. So let's start with refuse stockpiles in here. Now this is the butcher's shop. We don't need to name this differently. However, this gives to the workshop, to the stockpile, and this, no, not gives. Q again. This takes from the butcher's workshop and not from anywhere else. So I don't need to be too worried about taking extra stuff. When it comes to names, let's name them. This is gonna be butcher's input, and this the butcher's output. There it is. Okay, when it comes to this one, settings, we definitely want to properly set this up. This is gonna have, when it comes to types, I want to forbid these types, and in a refuse stockpile there's gonna be a lot of things, because you might want to throw away just about anything. However, what we need is corpses. We could go in here and make specific creatures' corpses available, but maybe the only thing that is worth doing is disabling dwarven corpses. And I don't know, maybe humans. And elves. And goblins. And kobolds. I mean, there's a lot of animal mans in here. Oh, I could look for man and just go through them. There's toad mans, worm man, blue jay man, cardinal man, crackle man, oriole man. There's a Gabra man. What the heck? Wow, there's a lot of beastmen in this game. Okay, sure, have body parts, no skulls, no bones, no shells, no teeth, no horns and hooves, no hair, no wool. We basically want the corpses. I think we can butcher body parts. Not so sure. You know what? Let's forbid this. Let's only have animal corpses in here. I do not remember right now if there is a way to filter out rotten or fresh. There's a way to do fresh raw hides or rotten raw hides. Nope, it doesn't look like. Okay, so that's the input. That's what kind of difficult. The output is much easier because we'll say that we'll take from links only, so only the resulting items that come out of the butcher's workshop. So we can get in here settings and say that we want any kind of refuse and any kind of food. Also any kind of, well, not really leather, because it won't be leather, it's gonna be raw hides. So no leather, but refuse and food. Wait a second. There's an entire thing for corpses? Okay, so no corpses in here, but I think I need to allow corpses in here. This game is so complicated. But yeah, there's a corpses thing in here. That at least it's checked out for the input. We'll test it and see what happens, okay? Now, for the farmer's workshop, he's gonna have plants as input, not only plants, but mainly plants. So we start with food, I think. Okay, food as input, and a bunch of stuff as output. It's gonna be both food and finished goods and many other things. So let's start with food. So this is the farmer's workshop. Later on, maybe we could specialize and have a cheese making shop and a pigtail processing workshop and stuff, but for now it's just farmer's workshop. This is gonna be Control N, farmer's input, and it's gonna give to this. This is gonna be farmer's output, and it's gonna take from this and not from anywhere else. So, what goes into the farmer's workshop? Let's go to settings. It's gonna be food. No meat. No. Forbid that. No fish. No unprepared fish. No eggs. Plants. Yes. No drinks. No cheese. No seed. Fruit and leaves. Maybe. Even though, no, leaves come out of here. So let's say no for now. No milled plants. No fat, no paste, no pressed, and no extracts. No miscellaneous liquids. So plants in here. However, I need to go back on drinks because I need to enable milk. So let's search. Wait, milks are not drinks. Milk is extracts. Yes, extracts. Oh, let's disable prepare food. Let's search for milk. Let's enable all the types of milk. There you go. So milk is gonna come in here because we're gonna use that to make cheese. Okay, so we have inputs and outputs. Now the output needs to be food, but also cloth, because this workshop is gonna make thread out of animal hair and out of pigtail plants. I think. Does it make finished goods too? I don't remember. I don't think so. Okay, let's stop at that. Let's give the dwarves a chance to work on this. Okay, I think the dwarves are now complaining that they cannot find plants because the dwarves aren't moving the plants quickly enough into the input stockpile, and also that they don't find barrels. But I have set up more jobs to work on that. So if we look in here, we are at 53 different drinks, so we are definitely going there. And there's a bunch of plants. Oh, you know what? Wait. I've just made a mistake. I have two different stockpiles that compete for the same items. Because this stockpile here, the one that works as an input for the still, wants plants, which is the same thing that this one wants. We need to make sure that they don't compete. So let's go to the still input. Let's go to settings. Food, plants. Have I already disabled most? Oh, look, actually, I was prepared because I said only plump helmets are allowed in here. However, I can broaden that selection up, because if I look at my kitchen, I can see that there's several different things that I could brew. Right now I would like to brew also my cave wheat, so I can move cave wheat in there. And I can... wait. I have maize, so let's do maize, millet, amaranth, not the pigtails. Ratweed, rice, sweet potatoes. Let's not cook. So, potato, sweet potato, maize, millet, amaranth, and cave wheat. Wheat or wet? Wheat. So in here, food, plants, search, wheat. So add cave wheat. Search for millet. It was pearl millet, I think. Search for amaranth. All the amaranth. It's okay. Okay, so this now only requests plants that we wish to brew. This one instead needs to exclude the ones that we wish to brew. So do not request plump helmet in here. Do not request cave wheat or any wheat. Any millet. Any amaranth. Or any potato. Oh, maize. Maize too. Maize and rice. I think I can add maize and rice in here. Okay. That should work slightly better. Another problem I'm having is that hungry dwarves are going in that stockpile. I just seen that happen, to eat those plump helmets before I can make drinks out of that. We are bringing more stuff in there though. The dwarves are working that up. What's in here? What's in this barrel? Oh, it's just an empty barrel. So nobody moved anything in particular in there. We're short on barrels and all kinds of things. How are we doing for barrel production? We are making barrels. There are barrels. Oh, you know what? We need to say that these barrels go upstairs. My problem right now, my biggest problem that I'm having with all these industries is that I yet not have centralized stockpiles. And that's a problem, because all these little stockpiles that we have in here don't necessarily can communicate with other industries elsewhere. So for example, right now these barrels are in here. Nobody can bring these barrels in the input barrels for the still. I can set up the link manually, but then I have to remember that those are linked. Let's do that though. I can say give and go upstairs, and oh, I forgot what what's that one. This. Okay. So let's do take. Let's go downstairs. Take from here. Right? Now, if I look in here, at some point, some dwarf will say, okay, so these barrels need to go upstairs. Also, the other thing that's happening... Oh, there they went. They brought the barrels upstairs. But the other thing that's happening is that this dwarf is keeping on making barrels. And if these barrels can't go anywhere, it means that they are accumulating in the workshop. Now, a workshop can hold a bunch of items, but the more items are there in the workshop, the more cluttered that workshop is. And a very cluttered workshop, it's a mess to work in. For example, this mason's workshop has a bunch of shale blocks in there. It's still not too much, okay? That's not a lot of shale blocks. But if that number of shale blocks goes, I don't know, like 2 pages, 3 pages, then this dwarf will take more and more time to work in here, because that will become a cluttered workshop. Now, does this thing accept bins? It should definitely accept bins, because if the output is blocks go in bins. I think I should order more bins. We always need more bins. Oh, and we finished making barrels, by the way, which is good. Is bins N? Yes. I'll make a few bins, you know. Don't feel restricted on the numbers of bins that you can make. So I have a butcher. Okay, let's do this thing to finish this episode. Let's set up the hunting, okay? I just need one more thing, a tannery. I need to set up a tannery. You know what? I'll set up a tanner up here. Oh, I can definitely remove these jewelers. So remove this. I have a metalsmith forge in here still, and a wood furnace. Sure, keep them for now. And wait. And this is a stone stockpile that I don't need anymore. So let's remove this. Also, I would like to remove this wood stockpile, and this bars and blocks stockpile doesn't even make sense to have it in here anymore. I will set up a tanner's though. Build workshop. N is for tanners. Let's have the tanner in here. Sure, make it out of wood. Now, the tanner takes raw hides and transforms them into leather. So, I'll give him a stockpile in here that gives to the tanners. And the settings say, I'm gonna go really quick with this, not animals. That's technically refuse. And we want to forbid everything but the item type fresh raw hide. Then I want to make another stockpile as the output. Well, actually the output is leather, so the output can definitely go downstairs. So let's not have. Let's remove this stockpile from here. Okay. So I see a dwarf working on this tannery. All right, we have a tannery. We have a tannery. Do we have bolts? Question mark. Ammunition. We have 68 bronze bolts and 40 bismuth bronze bolts. I would like not to use those. Those are really good for real military use. My dear Woodcrafts workshop. I could also enlist Ilrals for this, but let's not bother a legendary dwarf. And I mean, Ilral can also choose to come working at the general Woodcrafts if they want. Let's make wood. Is there bolts in here? Yeah, wood bolts, wooden bolts. Let's make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 batches of wooden bolts. Look at that, winter has arrived. Okay, let's unpause. Let's see the beginning of those bolts being made. Oh, by the way, I need to enable in here finished goods and also ammo. Oh, I see somebody working. Please. Oh, and it was Ilral. Ilral making wooden bolts. They seem to be really quick. Look at that. And they are really good bolts too. Okay, there are bolts. Now that we have bolts, let's see who do we want to use for hunting. Okay, here we are in a dwarf therapist. Something that, again, you don't need to do this, but I like to do this. I have 2 dwarves that are practically just hunters. Now let's see how good are they. Yeah, I'm probably gonna use that. Besmar and Ilral. We have a bunch of Ilral in this fortress. We can also look at their military prowess. They know how to dodge at least a little bit. They are ambushers, and they are novice crossbow man and woman, or dwarf. I guess they're strong. No, wait, they are not very strong. They're very weak. It's in red. Besmar is also incredibly susceptible to disease, apparently. But it's okay, it's okay. You only need to be agile. They're not super agile, but they will improve. I'm sure they will. And here I have this Edsel here, as an incredible axe dwarf also, apparently. So many kills. This guy is legendary. Armor user, shield user, dodger discipline. I totally missed this from the previous influx of people, previous migration. This guy also, Ficod, 10 kills, pandas, kias, giant fireflies, yak, red pandas, giant king snake, giant tick, and a peregrine falcon. They're really strong. Okay, for now though, back to the labors. Let's enable these 2 guys in hunting. Now, let me check again. I think I already have a tanner somewhere. Oh, I have these guys. These guys can do tanning. Oh, this is my super doctor. Hey, doc. Maybe, I mean, oh, why not? If you like doing these things, I can definitely see a surgeon also wanting to be a butcher in the spare time. I mean, we don't even have a hospital at the moment, so he would be underutilized anyway. Then very quickly, give me a second. Let me see if I can set up more people to be just generic, laborer. All right, I committed to the changes, so now I have 2 dwarves that are free to go and hunt. The only last thing that I need to set up, I need to tell them to only use wooden bolts. And how do I do this? I think I need to go to the military screens. This is the first time I open the military screen in this fortress, and I need to go to supplies, I believe. No, it's not supplies, it's ammunition. Of course, ammunition. So, right now I only have hunters. I don't have any military squad, but I can set up for hunters. I can set up specific bolts. So right now says 100 bolts assigned to hunters. I want to hit capital M and say wood. Okay, so 100 wooden bolts are assigned. Okay, good. So they won't pick up any of those bronze bolts. And now I can unpause, and let's see if we can catch any dwarf actually start hunting. Oh look, most of the walls are complete. That's great. It means that all the things that we put in motion are working. By the way, I'm trying to play this game specifically, like this fortress specifically, doing everything right, so to speak. Or, well, not really. There's no right way to do things, really. I'm trying to automate stuff. Oh, look. He's going. Stop there. I'll follow you in a second, Ilral the Hunter. Rider Copper. Ilral Rider Copper. So, what I was saying, I'm trying to do everything so that it's well set up and automated, okay? So that some industries can just work on their own. You don't have to do that. You can definitely just, order things to be done as they come up, as you notice. You're definitely gonna be a lot busier though, especially later on when the fortress grows in size a lot. you'll have to do a lot of micromanagement if you want to stay on top of things. So all these things that I'm doing about having an input stockpile and an output stockpile, that's a way of optimizing, and I'm trying to do that from the very beginning. But you don't really have to, okay? I don't want to give the impression that this is the only way to play this game. You can definitely have a giant room with a giant stockpile in the middle that can accept everything and workshop all around it. That would probably work until you have, I don't know, 100 dwarves or something like that. Anyway, let's follow Ilral. Go, my friend. Go hunt. Go hunting. Oh, what are you doing, mate? First of all, do you have any bolts with you? That's a pangolin. Okay, I thought it was something scarier. You are hunting. Yes, that's good. Do you have... You have a bismuth bronze crossbow. Good. You do not seem to have any quiver, and thus... No, you have a quiver. And you have candlenut bolts. But you chose not to use said bolts, and you went in melee. Let's look at the combat log. If you look in here now, this C wasn't present earlier. Wait. No, C is something else. See, R. Yes, R is combat reports. So the hunter, Ilral Emgashkuzil, is hunting. Oh, he fired a bolt, actually. The flying candlenut bolt strikes the pangolin in the upper body, bruising the muscle. And Ilral the hunter says, "The battle rages. I'm not scared." That's great. Go. Go, Ilral, you can do it. Oh, he's shooting. If you look really closely, actually, let me zoom in. If you look closely, you can see, if I unpause in a second, you'll see for very brief split of a second, you will see the bolt graphics in there. Okay, let me unpause. See?
Shoot.
So he's shooting this pangolin at distance of 0, and now he's out of ammo. And he says, "Okay, I did all I could. I tried shooting this pangolin from 5 inches, pretty much, but couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Let's look at this status of this pangolin. His upper body is bruised. Wounds. Yep, slightly bruised. What about you, mate? Oh, you're good. You're okay. And then you just cancelled. Said, "No, can't hunt this pangolin anymore." And what are you doing now? Where are you going? You don't have bolts. Oh, now he's going to pick up equipment. Good. Go get more bolts. There you go. Now he's going to eat something. Oh, you dwarves. Oh, because the pangolin rolled into a ball. Huh. And then the hunter tried bashing the pangolin in the upper body with his bismuth bronze crossbow, bruising the fat. And then said, "Yeah, can't do this. Pangolin's too hard. It's too hard. I have improved my crossbow. That was satisfying," said Ilral to himself. Yup. I mean, we tried, right? I can't really say that that's successful hunting, but we tried. And in here we have 59 drinks, and we got a bunch of plants that the dwarves can eat anyway, so... Oh my, somebody made a masterwork scepter. That's great. Alright, you know what? This seems to be mostly done, however, all these diagonal gaps I need to make sure that we don't have those. So let me very quickly go to build, construction, wall. I think all our filters are still in place. So I need to do this, 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 this. There you go. So that should complete the walls. And then, very last thing, G for bridge. Oh, look at this. Now, a bridge is a multi-tile structure. So I want it to span. So I'm gonna use, this uses like U, M, H, and K. So I'm gonna use U to make it taller. Then I'm gonna use K to make it longer. Okay? The bridge is gonna get all the way on the other side of the brook. Even though this brook is passable, like this is a very shallow river. At least until you breach into it. So this bridge currently retracts. If you look in here, retracts. However, using W, A, D, X, and S, I can make it so that it raises. So if I want it to raise from right to left, I need to press A. So if you see in here, raises to the left, which means that when it's closed, it's not, on the ground in here, but gets up. And this is weird about dwarven bridges. They can be very long, but when they raise, they are only tall as much as one wall. So they can be like 10 tiles long, but they become 1 story tall when they are raised. Which I mean, it's convenient. Let's put it like that. So this will become a 1 story tall wall when it's closed. Okay, which makes us, much safer. Not totally safer. I mean, a dragon could still fly into the fortress, right? But I hope we're not getting a dragon so early. No, we are definitely not. You need to have many more dwarves, and you need to have created a bunch more wealth to attract a dragon. This is no Lonely Mountain. Anyway, guys, this is it for this 6th episode. The high standards of Glimmerhall, the Gilded Jewel. I thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Alla prossima!